Hey guys, welcome to this new video. Today we are flying to Laos to interview Sirina, who has been involved in a HoReCa business and owns a coffee shop chain and hotel in southern Laos in the middle of their plantation. So she's gonna share with us about her entrepreneurship story being living in Laos. She also won an Asian Business Award for Women Entrepreneurship, so she's gonna share with us her insights of being an entrepreneur in Laos. If you wanna learn about investment opportunities and business in Asia, you can check in the description and download my ebook, The 7 Mistakes I Made in Asia. Let's get started. Hello Sirina, I'm happy to have you here on the YouTube channel to share about women entrepreneurship and business in Laos. I know that before living in Laos, you also live in Singapore. So can you share us your story going from France to Laos?
Hi, good morning, Guillaume. Thanks for having me on your channel. I'm very honored. And let me share with you my journey from France to Laos, right? So as you can see, I have some Lao origin. So I didn't arrive here just by chance or by mistake. Actually, my family has a business in Laos, so that was somehow in the plan to come here in the near future. So why did I decide to go to Singapore first? Actually, as a fresh graduate, I started to work in France, but I very quickly realized that I still needed to have some exposure abroad. I still needed to be connected with other cultures. So I started to look for jobs anywhere in Asia, and it came up that Singapore was the first destination. So I took a position where I had to open the startup company office in Singapore. It was a French startup. So we first moved with my partner in Singapore because I found this opportunity very exciting, a lot of autonomy. I had to set up the office, do all the business development by myself, finding new clients. That was really, really great. I was young, 26-year-old, right? And lots of autonomy. That was really great. And after starting this business, I felt that it was not really for me to work in this way because the vision of the company was not really aligned with mine, and we had limited resource as a small French company to develop a business in Singapore. I had to travel a lot, meet with very different type of companies, and the results we had as a small startup were not enough. So I finally decided to quit and join a consulting company, Accenture, American company, and join their digital practice. So basically my background is more about digital consulting and helping companies to grow their business on the digital space. As we moved to Singapore, we were closer to Laos, right? So we traveled a few times to Laos, visiting my parents, knowing more about the country, the development, and we were progressively more attracted by the country. We came to learn about the opportunities, what could be done here, and what were really the projects that were exciting for us. So after 5 years in Singapore, we just decided that, okay, it's time to move on to the next adventures. And so that's how we came to Laos. So for me, moving from France to Laos was not a completely natural process. I needed to have experience somewhere else before, and then joining the family business here. It was really important for me to get exposure to another country and work with other companies before joining the family business. So that's how we moved here.
So now talking more about your business in Laos and what you are doing on a day-to-day basis, can you share a bit more about what you are working on right now in Laos?
So currently I'm running Sinuk Coffee, which is a coffee business. In Laos, we're one of the oldest and leading coffee business in Laos because we overview the whole coffee value chain. We started as coffee growers and coffee traders a few years ago. Then we moved on to manufacturing coffee, which means that we produce our own brand, we roast our own coffee, and we package our own brand and our own product. Then we also moved on to the retail side where we opened coffee shop chain. So today we have about 14 outlets throughout Laos, mostly based in Vientiane capital, but also spread across the different provinces. So in these coffee shops, we serve coffee, coffee drinks, right, mostly, but also bakeries, French bakeries, and food as well. So it's a real pleasure to run this business because you come to drink your favorite drink every day and you just test some food all the time. So that's really exciting. So that's one of the part that we developed the most over the last few years: food, catering, and cafe as a social place for people to meet. Over the last few years, we also tried to develop other aspects of the business because, as you develop your activity, competition comes with, right? So we developed coffee shop chain, then other entrepreneurs also started to develop coffee shop. So we needed to differentiate ourselves. So when I joined the company, I focused my energy on developing a franchising network to duplicate our presence quickly in Laos. That was not so easy, I would say, because the franchise network at that time was not really, the franchise concept, I would say, was not really well known in Laos. People did not understand why they had to pay for using your brand, why they had to pay you royalty fees, right? So it's been a little bit of a challenge. Now it's still challenging, but we have more experience. So let's say it's more smooth, right? To differentiate ourselves on the market as well. So I also wanted to emphasize more about our expertise. We've been in the coffee business for a long time. We've developed our expertise throughout the whole value chain on many aspects, right? So I really wanted to emphasize on the coffee education aspect. So 4 years ago, we opened the Coffee Learning House, which we call the Sinu Coffee Pavilion today. It's a place in Vientiane where people can come learn about coffee. They can learn many aspects about the history, the processing. We also have a coffee lab where on a day-to-day basis, we test our coffee, we test new recipe, we test new samples that we receive, but we also organize tour. So on their free time, Saturday morning or any day during the week, people who live in Vientiane and also tourists before, right, could come and just learn coffee with us. So that has been a real pleasure to do that too, sharing our expertise, sharing our passion too, to anyone who was interested in coffee, whether you're a coffee connoisseur or just someone who loves drinking coffee and want to know more. And I would say one of the last projects that we've been running, especially before COVID, right, was more focused on coffee tourism. Why coffee tourism? Again, that's also because we have a plantation on the Bolaven Plateau in the south of Laos. And on this coffee plantation, we host a small coffee resort where tourists can come and enjoy coffee. They can stay overnight for 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights, and just use our resort as a base camp to visit the region and also visit our plantation and see our processing facilities. So 2 years ago, we started to organize tours for tourists from Korea mainly, but we also had tourists from La Réunion, for instance, and design tour especially for them based on the limited time that they had or based on the special interest they had also. So it was really a very enriching experience. We could share with them what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. We could bring them to meet our farmers. We could let them experience processing, get their hands dirty. So that's also something that I really appreciate to develop. And today, of course, everything is on standby because we don't have any more tourists. So we need to renew our approach. But basically, that's what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. I'm working on growing the coffee business, whether it's on the farming side, retail side, or more educational side, tourism side.
Okay, so interesting to see that you are involved in the training, in the franchising business, and as well as in the HoReCa. We're going to discuss a little bit after about the HoReCa aspect. I'm quite curious to have your insights about this in Laos. But before that, I know that you're also very involved in the women entrepreneurship community in Laos. You've been, you won the prize of the business award for APAC region, right, in 2017. Can you share with us your commitment and your involvement into that community?
Actually, I won this award like 4 years ago now, so that's quite a long time ago, right? So that's ASEAN Business Awards in the Women Entrepreneur category. So I think that was a key moment for me. Actually, when I joined the company, I was doing my daily task as usual, right? And I came to know some people who just told me, oh, you should apply for this Women Entrepreneur Award. Maybe it would be interesting for you and the company to have some exposure in ASEAN. So I just said, okay, let's join. So I really committed myself to providing all the data, sharing our past achievement and also vision for the future, how our company stands in Laos and what we're planning to do and what role we are committed to play in the Laos society. And I won. So first, I think I didn't realize that it was such a big prize for ASEAN. So I just flew myself to Manila, received the prize from President Duterte, and came back home alone, right? And then when I came back to Laos, there was such a positive atmosphere around here. People started to come to me, congratulate me. Business community also started to connect with me. People that I didn't know before, right? Of course, there were some questions about, oh, who's this girl? So why is it not someone else that we know for a long time who won the award? Why did she win? And then progressively, people started to learn about me, and I also explained how I managed to win. Let's say, right? Just being authentic, sharing about our company development and what were our plan. And from then, it opened some doors for me. I was more connected to the Lao society. I was more considered as well. I was able to share more experience. And the interesting thing is that progressively, I was also called to apply for other type of awards, right? And I just accepted because for me, it wasn't really for me 100% to get the award, but also to put the spotlights on Laos. Just to mention that we have an applicant from Laos because they have so many applicants from Singapore, from the Philippines, from Thailand, right? And so I just opened some doors as well. And now since 2017, every year we have some applicants from Laos. So that's a great pride for me. I'm really happy about that. And so progressively, I also came to meet some women entrepreneurs that I still know today, and we're still sharing a few stories, few events. And I thought that was interesting to share with you because I often get the question about, so how about women in Laos? So are there a lot of women entrepreneurs? Is it not so difficult? And I was really surprised. It's really not difficult to be a woman entrepreneur in Laos. There's no barrier. Actually, it's a very well integrated situation with men. No difference. A lot of women are entrepreneurs in various sectors, in fashion, in food and beverage, in mining industry as well, in sports. You'd be surprised how many women there are here. And I think that's also what makes Laos unique and stronger. There's no barrier, there's no limit about that. And that's quite interesting. And when you know how to connect with these women, then yeah, it makes things easier. As the philosophy of our company, we're committed to represent Laos thanks to our coffee commitment, but also because we work with farmers and also committed to help the young generation to develop and supporting women as well. In our company, we have more than 50%, easily more than 50% of the staff is women. And we've been supporting them on several aspects: flexible work hours, post-pregnancy, work flexibility as well, development program for them to know more about different topics, right? And that's how we were identified by UNFPA. UNFPA stands for United Nations Fund for Population Assistance, right? And so we were identified as partner by UNFPA because of our commitment with women and young girls. So we are very proud to be partnering with them. Actions are not as important as we thought we would do for now, but we still committed to this engagement. We help them promote about the importance of empowering women and young girls, of letting women know about what is important, in their life and how they can manage their professional career, pregnancy, and life choice make healthy choice as well. So this is quite important. It's both a company commitment and a personal commitment as well. So I represent UNFPA on the company level, but that's also on my own time. Everything I do for women activities on my own time as well.
Interesting and inspiring stories about the business and also kind of the volunteering aspects of your life. What about now the HORECA aspect? I'm interested about running a coffee shop, running a hotel. You mentioned the hotel you have in the plantation. Can you share with us a little bit the pros and cons and maybe the struggle you have in running this kind of business, especially right now in this COVID time?
So right now in this COVID time, of course, the struggles are so numerous, right? So our hotel definitely relied more on tourism. So now the activities is very, very slowed down. So we need to have more creativity to attract local people. Developing more our F&B offer, focusing more on the experience aspect as well, and preparing for the reopening of the borders, of course. I was mentioning about coffee tourism. So that's not something I'm focusing right now because the interprovincial borders also just reopen. So our main focus will be about focusing, attracting and targeting more the local people with activities in our resort and also food and beverage packages, right? But also stays for the local residents. We are entering into the summer season, which also means holidays for family. So for those who didn't come last year, for example, or the previous years, we're also trying to arrange some package for them during this season. Regarding other aspects of the HORECA business, running restaurants and coffee shop we're also struggling, right? The chance we have, I would say, is that most of our outlets are based in Vientiane capital. So Vientiane capital is less affected than the rest of the province. We still benefit from all the dynamism of the capital city, right? Again, I think it's really about innovation and also relying on your loyal customer base. I think we're quite lucky on this side. We have over the last few years built quite a loyal customer base. So even during the lockdown and even now, we lost some revenues, but we still have our loyal customers who still join, who order with us. So that's really, really helpful. I would say that running HORECA business anyway is very challenging in Laos outside of the COVID period anyway. It's challenging for many aspects. If you don't own your own place, rental fees are usually quite high. There is no really market price, so owners really set their price as they want. So if you need to rent a place, it's definitely going to be considerable aspect in your P&L. That's really, really heavy. So that's why the most successful retailers here in Laos are those who are owning their own shop. They own the wall. So if you own your wall, then you don't really have to worry about, in this COVID period, for example, if they own the wall, they are owner, they might not be so affected. So that's one of the main points. The second point is about, of course, employee retention. How to manage to retain your employee, keeping them loyal so that you don't have a crazy turnover where you have to change your staff every week, every month, or every 6 months, right? So on this aspect, I think we've done quite right. I think it's a family aspect as well, which helps. We run a family business, so that's also what the employees feel. We also enable them to grow in the companies. So we have employees staying with us for 15 years, 10 years. Very few employees are with us since less than 5 years. So somehow we give them opportunity to grow, career perspective as well. And that's an important point here. Most of the staff you will hear in Laos are very volatile. They change all the time, which is true. But I think if you manage to give them some perspective and also show them that they have opportunity to grow in your company, they are more sensible to this right now. So that will help. So our HoReCa business, I would say, is still is struggling during this period, but we're lucky to have loyal staff.
So you mentioned about the volatility of the staff, and what about the market consumption? I know, for instance, in Vietnam, as soon as there is a new brand, you will have a lot of customer coming. People want to try, experience, new thing popping up in the city, but it's very hard to maintain those customers. How is it about the mindset of the Lao consumer on this perspective?
That's exactly the same. So as soon as a new place opens up, you have all the person from Vientiane, for example, moving to this place. And then you go back 6 months later, or maybe a year, but usually after 6 months, you can see that this place is empty again because people move to another place. So that's the real challenge. So many places here open very fast, actually. You'd be surprised. You can go to a different place almost every week, right? Or every 2 weeks, you can go to different places. But those who survive are very limited. So it's very open to open a shop here, but I would say that after 2 years, 50% of them close.
Yeah, I was interested to get your insight about HoReCa business in Laos, because obviously this is one of the first ideas foreigners have when they want to do business in Asia. I got consulted for this kind of business, like foreigners want to have their own coffee, their own restaurant, their own bar. But this is also an industry that is very competitive, and it's not only you need to have a good idea, you need to have good management skill, good business skill. It's a whole thing you have to learn if you want to jump into this business. What would be your advice to tell to, I don't know, a millennial, someone who has this idea and want to try and experience this kind of business? What will be your kind of key takeaway you would tell them to get started?
I would say definitely do not do that alone. You need to partner with a local person, not only on an administrative point of view, but someone who's been here for, I wouldn't say too long, but someone who's been here, who knows the market, who knows the trend, and also who is able to connect with the local population as well. If you run 100% Phalang business, as we say here, Phalang means foreigner, right? Chances are that you will be able to attract foreigners because you have a unique value proposition for foreigners, right? But don't have to forget that the foreigners community is still small in Laos. Yes, when you go outside, you can see a lot of foreigners, but the biggest share of the market is still Lao people. So somehow, even if your menu or your concept is 100% Phalang, right? It's really important to be partnering with a Lao person just to help you with the communication or to promote. Is really, really important, because now, as you see during the COVID time, when you're 100% Phalang oriented, you're very vulnerable. So that will be my main takeaway, I would say. Partner with a Lao person, absolutely. Of course, find a unique value proposition, but that's, I would say, obvious. Don't rush as well, and also really try to find the right location. Vientiane is so small, right? So if you just try to do something because you know someone who has a free space, a little bit out of town, but it's also a little bit difficult. So location, as usual, that's a key point in HoReCa anyway. But partnering with a person who is able to speak with the language, I would say, speak with the Lao community is also quite important.
Try to find a partner as soon as you arrive. Get to know the market, what people say, and what also you have to experience by your own. And then being good in, I guess, just managing a company, right? Running a business, doing digital marketing nowadays. It will be kind of your key takeaway.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, yeah, I forgot to mention about that. But regardless if it's a foreigner or not, yes, of course. Running a business as a digital business is anyway something essential, right? So for any foreigner who would like to come and open a business in Laos, in HoReCa, for example, don't just come and open a physical shop. Just set up your menu and open. It has to be more digital oriented. Come directly with some unique value proposition. Jump directly into the digital space and create this differentiation. That's, I think, what would help, because just opening a shop, a restaurant or a cafe or a bubble tea shop here, I mean, it's good, right? But you have to come with a unique value proposition, and leveraging on digital is essential, of course. Yes.
So we know that there is a lot of foreign direct investment coming into Laos, especially from China. How do you see the economy growing and the opportunity coming to Laos, let's say from the next 5 to 10 years?
So Laos is definitely a very dynamic market, but it's taking time. It's both dynamic and slow at the same time. So if I look back, I just moved here 6 years ago. It changed a lot on many aspects. On development project, HoReCa business opening, of course, the rise of delivery, for instance, in e-commerce. We still have a lot of barriers regarding online facilities, internet connection, and payment facilities, right? But it's evolving very fast, quite fast, right? But slower than in other countries, mainly because we don't have all the infrastructure and also all the skill sets of the people who have the right skill sets to develop. But it will come quite fast, I would say. But I would say 5 years, you don't have to expect like a tremendous change. You will not see big towers and so many big companies joining as well. Definitely Chinese companies are coming, but they are doing it very slowly. So they are coming, not making so much buzz, I would say, doing their own thing, their development about the railway, for instance, or hospitals. So big projects are coming in, mostly in the transportation sector, tourism sector, and also healthcare sector, right? It's evolving, but you don't have to be too impatient. I would say in 10 years, yes, it will definitely change, but in 5 years, it will change, but you don't have to expect very, crazy results. If you move here next year and in 5 years, you're expecting to have grown by 10, as a single entrepreneur, it might be hard, but if you come with a big investment company, maybe.
Thank you, Serena, for your sharing and your advice for the young community who want to jump into business in Laos. You can check in the description, and we will leave some links, some resources, and maybe directly the contact of Serena. So if you want to get in touch with Serena, feel free to check in the comments and below in the description. Thank you, Serena, for your time, and I see you in the next video.
Thank you, Guillaume.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And I'ma get it right, dead on sight like